Good evening. The hour being after 6:45 p.m., it is my pleasure to call the February 29th, 2024 School Committee meeting to order. Our first item of business is the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We have a few recognitions tonight. We're going to start with one, and then we'll have one in a little while. But our first one is of the Walpole High School mock trial team.
Yes, I was so fortunate enough to see this incredible team at the Rentham courthouse prior to vacation, and so I don't explain it and steal Mr. Balkus's thunder. I'm gonna bring him up, and Phil, maybe you can just explain a little bit about the mock trial and the competitions and. Sure. And how they did this year.
Mock trial is a competition that's done every year through the Massachusetts Bar Association. And what you do is everybody gets the same packet. And inside that packet are different affidavits. And kids serve as either witnesses or attorneys. And part of that packet is learning the rules of evidence, hearsay, objections, all those types of things. And it takes a long time for these kids to really prepare the case. And you get 3 trials that you can participate in against other high schools, and we actually go to the courthouse. It's been nice to get back into the courthouse. Over the past few years, we've had it, at schools and on Zoom, and it wasn't as good as being in the real courthouse. So it was nice to get back, and so that's how it operates. And if you win all 3 trials, you go on to a playoff at Clark University, and then you keep going until you lose. We had a great year, I thought, and they really did a nice job. We lost to the team that had won. Or one of the finalists for last year at Massachusetts. If you go to the finals, it's at Faneuil Hall in Boston. So it was very nice. And, I'm really proud of these kids because they put a lot of work into it. And it's through their own efforts that they, just improve. I always tell them, you don't see it, but from the beginning, when you start that packet and then the final product, it's pretty amazing. The way they improve, they become better speakers, critical thinkers, all of those things. So give them a big round of applause.
Absolutely.
We'd love to invite any members of the team up to join you if they want to talk about their experience.
Come on, Captain.
Well, yeah, Mr. Balkus summed it up pretty well. But mock trial, it's a great experience. You really learn the law. You learn a lot about how Massachusetts, how the Supreme Court justice, how all this stuff works. And the fact that every single team has to prepare a side on the defense and the prosecution, it really opens your eyes that if you have to win, you have to be able to see multiple perspectives. You have to understand different types of people, where they come from. And it really is a great way to collaborate with everyone. We work throughout the whole year, and all of us, we all have different roles. We focus on specific things, but in the end, it's about creating a cohesive story. We all are on the same team. We're all trying to prove the same thing. And it really makes a difference when we do it together and when all of our different facts that we try to prove line up with what we've been saying throughout the whole trial. And it really just is a great experience.
Thank you, Sarah. Any questions or comments from the committee? Ms. Rogers.
Sorry, I came in late. I came in on 2 wheels. But you are a very impressive young woman. Just, the way that you're speaking, and I think it shows a lot to, what you guys are doing together. But that was incredible. You came up in front of all of us, looked everyone in the eye, so that was very impressive.
Agreed. Thank you.
questions or comments? Mr. Buckley?
Through you, Madam Chair. The only time we really are excited about our students being in Rentham District Court is for mock trial. I work for the court system during the day, so I know I was saying that. But I think it's wonderful. Throughout the year, we get to hear from a number of different extracurricular groups that really augment the work we do, during the school day with you. And it's so great to see, because I feel like that ability to think critically, that ability to communicate clearly and cogently, that ability to, I've said this a few times throughout the year now, to gather information, evaluate sources, things like that. Those are really tremendous skills that I hope will be a great asset to you all as you kind of go through the rest of your education and leave us after your secondary education as well. So this is great. I know it's a long-standing program, and we're glad to see that it's still very vibrant and you're growing as well. And we hope to have you come back here in the future, perhaps with having done better in the competition as well. But it's great that you're taking time to do this kind of on top of, I'm sure all of you have a full load of coursework as well. And many of you are not sort of not new faces. We see you for a number of different things throughout the year, so it just really impresses me how most of you are juggling so much, and that this is just another great experience you've added to your plate with us. So thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Ms. Gayotis?
So as an attorney myself, and I was in mock trial when I was in school, this warms my heart to hear you guys talking about seeing both sides of a story, and that's a skill that will do you well if you decide to become an attorney, or even, talking and persuading your parents about something. Many good ways to use that skill, so.
Use it for good, not evil. Dr. Goff?
Yeah, I bragged about you at the last school committee meeting after watching you, and like I said, I was completely blown away just from the ability to, question and cross-examine or play witnesses and be cross-examined and be spot on, like knowing those affidavits was unbelievable. And I think you, Sarah, had mentioned to me at the end, like, I don't know, this judge was so hard on me, last year. And then he was the one that complimented you at the end of like how you were spot on and knocked it out of the park. And, you competed against, the Nobles and Severians, and it did incredible work. And for that judge to say that, some of you were even better than, sometimes the first year law students that try to go and do mock trial is really a compliment to you all, and to you, Mr. Balkus, for the time and effort, because I know it must be an incredible amount of time, but.
Well, I'd be remiss not to mention my attorney coaches, Julie Corcoran and Virginia Connolly. They've been with me for a few years now. Actually, Julie Corcoran's been with me for, I think, 10 years, so, and she continues to come back, so.
Yeah,
it's a
pretty
credit to
amazing,
them and the
so.
whole community, really.
Congratulations to you.
Congratulations. We would love to invite all of you up here with Mr. Balkus to take a photo. Mrs. Mortale will take one, and families, you're welcome to take your own as well. And then after that, you are welcome to depart or stay for a little while to see some of your colleagues be recognized in a later agenda item. But please come on up.
A lot of room.
Yeah, a lot of room. Yeah.
That way.
Good question.
You can get a little closer together, even though there's a lot of space.
Is he just 8,000 points? Good. So that's over. She can just play now.
Thank you very much, all of you. Congratulations again.
Thank you.
All right, our next item of business is the Walpole High School student report from Mr. Colin Mahoney. Welcome back, Colin. Take it away.
Hi, my name is Colin Mahoney. I'm a senior at Walpole High School. I hope everyone enjoyed their February break. Hope they enjoyed some solid time off. The Cruiser Film Festival at the high school began showing their movies over February break, and hope to see all you guys show up in May. It's fun. It's fun to watch, the red carpet especially. Best Buddies will be having a meeting next Monday, and the week before break, we had a board game day where we played all sorts of games, and it was really fun. The boys track team won big and became the Division III state champs with 48 total points. And yesterday, boys and girls hockey played. I'm pretty sure they both lost. And girls basketball is playing now. I don't know how that's going, but
Well, Mrs. Gallivan has a breaking news update, Colin, if you don't mind if we throw to her for a second.
I'm here for it.
Junior Izzy Adams just hit her 1,000th point tonight.
amazing.
So, and they're winning at this point.
Good to hear.
Yep.
Back to you, Colin.
The Humane Society will be collecting donations for local shelters, and these donations can be brought to the front lobby of the high school. And the Photography Club held a meeting today where they shared photos they took all during break. And finally, any seniors who have any more candid photos for the yearbook, please get them in ASAP as the yearbook is almost being sent out. And that's all. Thank you.
Great. Thank you, Colin. Any questions or comments?
Nice job. Good to see you.
Yes, thanks for being here. All right, our next item of business is an out-of-state field trip request from the Old Post Road Hot Hoppers.
Yes, we actually, Erica Green, is a teacher from Old Post Road, is here tonight to actually request 2 out-of-state field trips. One is March 9th for Portsmouth, New Hampshire, and there'll be a vote to waive the 30-day notice requirement, which I would recommend. And then the second is a trip to New Hampshire on June 1st.
Okay, so on March 9th, it's actually a fantastic workshop that they're going to be learning from jump ropers from all over the US, so it's gonna be awesome. So I'm excited to get them to go there. And then so far, we only have one competition this year, and that is on June 1st up in Keene, New Hampshire. So then we can portray everything that we've learned. So I'm hoping that you guys will grant us that.
Excellent. Any questions or comments for Ms. Green?
Motion to waive the 30-day notice requirement?
Second?
Motion by Mr. Buckley, second by Mrs. Gallivan. All those in favor? Opposed, abstained, 600.
Motion to approve the field trip for the Hot Hoppers to Portsmouth, New Hampshire on March 9th, 2024, and Keene, New Hampshire on June 1st, 2024.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Buckley, second by Mrs. Syrek. All those in favor? Opposed, abstained, 600. Have a great time. Let us know how it goes.
Thank you.
Thanks for doing it.
All right, now we have a World Language Department update.
Yes, we have Laura Kay, she's our World Language Department Chair. She's here not only to give us a foreign language update, but then she'll also roll into the next item, is to outline the sale of biliteracy recipients that we would like to recognize tonight.
Hi, everybody. Thank you for having me here tonight. I hope you all have had a very good leap day, made the most of your extra day of the year. This is my big leap day activity, so thank you for having me. I would like to extend a special thank you to Dr. Hahn for his support this year as I began in this position and for helping me prepare for tonight. In discussing this presentation with Dr. Hahn, he suggested that I start by introducing myself to you, since this is my first time getting to come here tonight. And so it's hard for me to believe, but this is my 19th year here in the Walpole Public Schools as a Latin teacher at the high school. In my time at the high school, I've taught nearly every Latin class that we offer. I've had some of your children in those Latin classes. I think, Ms. Syrek, you and I had a one-on-one Zoom back-to-school night during the pandemic, so, excuse me. So I have a range of experience from working with our students at the highest level and to our students with the most in need of support. I've collaborated closely with education support professionals in my classroom and with my colleagues throughout the department to make sure that I'm meeting the needs of all of our students. I'm proud that I implemented a dual enrollment Latin 4 class that has allowed our students to do college-level work and earn 3 college credits from UMass Boston for their work in their senior year. I've stayed current with best practices in Latin pedagogy, and I've been working with my colleagues and updating our practices to engage all students. And I really love teaching Latin, and I sincerely believe that Latin is for everyone. Working in the Walpole Public School community has helped me grow in so many ways as a professional, and these experiences are serving me well in the position of department chair so far. I've had the opportunity to collaborate with my colleagues at Walpole High School throughout the building and with our school leadership team over the years through my involvement as a NEAS committee co-chair, as chair of the WIL committee, as a member of the vision statement committee, a member of the scheduling committee, and as a member of the sick bank committee for the Walpole Teachers Association. I have engaged with our student leaders as faculty advisor of the National Honor Society, worked productively with several co-advisors over the years and with the Faculty Council in managing the selection process, supervising the student service projects in the school and community, and planning our annual induction ceremony. I've also been continuously involved as co-advisor of our Latin Club, helping our students extend their learning through opportunities outside the classroom. My main goals for this first year as department chair have been to listen, and to learn, and to build relationships with my colleagues at both the high school and the middle school especially, which is a new piece for me. And as we all get used to me being in this new role. I'm lucky to work with an experienced and talented team of educators from whom I'm constantly learning. I'm also grateful to the district for giving me the opportunity to take a course from the organization Research for Better Teaching called Analyzing Teaching for Student Results, which has been very helpful as I get used to being in the classroom as an evaluator. I also would like to thank my principal, Steve Imbosh, and my fellow department chairs who've been very supportive and helpful to me as I jump into this new role. So that's a little bit about me. So tonight, I'd like to highlight for you three things that we have going on in the World Language Department. Starting firstly, I would like to talk to you about the opportunity we extend to our Walpole High School juniors and seniors to earn the Massachusetts State Seal of Biliteracy. Oops, I forgot to. My slides. Hello. Salve. Hola. Bonsoir. So the State Seal of Biliteracy is an award given by a school or district in recognition of students who have attained proficiency in listening, speaking, reading, and writing in 2 or more languages by high school graduation. The seal is awarded at 2 proficiency levels and can be used to communicate with academic institutions, employers, and the community that students are able to study, work, and engage with others in 2 or more languages. Students who meet the criteria for the Seal of Biliteracy will receive an insignia provided by the Department of Education to be affixed to their high school transcript. So on these slides, which I think you have a copy of, you can see the criteria that's expected of for the students to meet in earning the seal. Students must first show proficiency in English by earning an MCAS score of 472 or above. They must then show their proficiency in another language by scoring at the proficiency level called intermediate high in all 4 modes of communication. So they have to reach that level in all 4, so it's not an average. And a student who scores 501 or above on MCAS and the proficiency level of advanced low in their second language can earn the Seal of Biliteracy with distinction. So this year, we have 6 members of the Walpole High School class of 2024 who have earned the Seal of Biliteracy. We're very proud of these students and their accomplishments in language study. And we have most of them here tonight. So Gabriela Aluigi has earned the seal in Spanish and English. This is Gabby. You might remember Gabby was here last year, I think, for summer travel opportunity she won from doing well in the National Spanish exam. And Zane Boom, who's earned the seal in Arabic and English. Mia Coleman, who's not able to be here tonight, has earned the seal in Spanish and English. Catherine Furlong, who's here tonight, has earned the seal in Spanish and English. Amaya Gora is here, and she's earned the seal in Telugu and English. And Konstantinos Moustakis, he's here, and he's earned the seal in Spanish and English. So congratulations to you all.
Ms. Kay, is it okay
Yes.
if we pause there for a
Please,
second and
yes.
allow the students to come up and
Yeah.
be part of a photo, and we'd
I would
love for
love
you
that.
to join them?
Yes, absolutely.
Thank you. This is very impressive. Get in here, Amaya. Don't drag your feet. Height order. Congratulations. And like your colleagues on mock trial, you're welcome to stay, you're welcome to depart, to do other homework or what have you. But congrats again. It's a very impressive honor, well deserved.
Bye, have a good night. Bye, thank you, nice to see you all. Yeah, you too, bye. Nice to meet you, thank you. Okay. So next, I thought I would like to talk to you about our new language lab that we have installed this year at the high school. So there's one picture there. I didn't have great pictures of the kids in there, but that'll give you a little scene of what it's like to sit in the lab. So the new software is from a company called Dill, and it's a Mac-based software. So we have new Mac Mini computers installed in the lab. And the high school language teachers and I were grateful to the research in deciding on the best new lab for our needs, and certainly to our technology staff, Tom Reeve, Lisa McAdams, Patrick Hood, and all the staff for installing the new computers and software and helping us troubleshoot as we learn how to use it, and especially to the district for its financial support for the lab. Teachers, we were trained to use the new lab by a Dill representative at our early release day on October 6th. And the new Mac-based software is intuitive, and it allows teachers to be creative and easily group students for speaking activities. All of our modern language teachers at the high school are using the lab regularly, so it's getting a lot of use. And they're able to use it to give their students opportunities for interpersonal and presentational speaking and collaboration in the lab. This is, if you're interested in seeing the interface, so the slide you can see a sample of what it looks like from the teacher's perspective and how they can move the little circles and the arrows to group students together in different formations and randomly or consciously in choosing groupings for students, and how the teacher can join the conversation themselves and jump into a group to listen or to respond to the students. A couple of the teachers at the high school have their student learning goal related to encouraging the students to speak more and to increase their confidence in speaking about themselves, or particularly in carrying on a two-way conversation and being able to respond to another student in speaking in Spanish. So the lab is getting a lot of new use. And then finally this year, this is our second year in the World Language Department in the district's curriculum review cycle. So this is our evaluate and audit year. So on December 12th, our early release day, the staff from the Walpole High School, from Bird Middle School, and Johnson Middle School, we all got together at the high school. First of all, to get to know each other. Many of us hadn't met each other or seen each other in a few years. To learn about the curriculum review process and begin to discuss ideas for our focus. We surveyed our staff, and a review of the results indicated that people wanted, first and foremost, time together to review our curriculum and current resources, particularly authentic resources for reading and listening in the target languages, starting with our level 1 and 2 courses. So just before February break on Thursday, February 15th, I got together with 5 of our teachers, Catherine Bacon, who's Spanish teacher at Walpole High School, Barbara Bolino at Bird Middle School, Rich Sturgis at the high school, and Carrie Simchick. We met for a full day, professional day, to review our Spanish 1 and Spanish 2 curriculum maps and UBD units, and to consider some of the following questions. Why do we cover what we cover? Is what we cover relevant and engaging to our students? what would we like to add or to subtract from what we have? Is what we cover appropriate for the proficiency level of our students? Our cultural connections to the language represented in our units? What resources do we have, and what resources would we like to have? It was a great day. It was a great opportunity for cross collaboration, not only between the high school and middle school staffs to check for vertical alignment, but also I think between the two middle schools, especially as we look forward to being in the same building together next year. Both schools coming together. So next week, our French teachers, Maggie Kwasnick and John McCluskey at the high school and Val Lucas at Byrd will engage in the same process with our French curriculum. And then we're still in the process of planning a day for doing the same with Latin. So we greatly appreciate the district giving us this time for this collaboration. So thank you for your time, and hopefully I'll see you again next year.
Thank you very much. Any questions or comments for Ms. Kay from the committee? Mrs. Gallivan?
Just one quick one. Nice to
Nancy.
see you, Laura.
Thank
Welcome.
you. Thank you.
Which languages are being taught in Walpole now?
We have 3. Yep, Spanish, French, and Latin.
Okay. Just curious, because.
Yeah, we did have Mandarin in the past, but we had a hard time sustaining a full-time position.
Yep.
As far as numbers go, and so this is the second year that we have not had Mandarin at the high school.
Thank you.
Yes, you're
No, but
welcome.
thanks. That was a nice presentation.
Thank you.
One more thing.
Little nervous, but that's
Are there, in the show.
okay. Good.
Are there any rumblings, like among either the students or the staff, about if you were to add in a 4th language, what that might be?
Yeah, actually, some students that are on your school committee, I think Bridget, came and
the
talked to me.
Superintendent Council?
Yeah, Superintendent's
Yes,
Council,
yes,
yes. Came and talked to me about language offerings, and, they had questions about why we didn't have Mandarin, and, I was honest and said we just didn't have that many, students. One thing I've heard from a couple students is something like American Sign Language, there's an interest in. So I'm all for as many languages we can support, depending on how that goes, but yes, yeah.
I really love these reflective questions that were guiding your PD. I think it's so important to pause and ask, like, are we teaching what we ought to be teaching, and is what we're doing still relevant? It's just wonderful that everybody had a full day to consider those questions.
It really was great, and people worked hard. I mean, we worked all day. We took a break for lunch, but people were into it, and that was really heartwarming to me, that, they care a lot about, we care a lot about what we do, and I thought that really came through on that day. So,
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much for being here.
thank you.
Look forward to
Thank
seeing
all.
you again.
Yeah,
Thanks, Laura.
absolutely. Thank you.
All right. Last item of new business is an update on the Student Opportunity Act from Dr.
Yep.
Goff.
You'll get more information about this at the next school committee meeting, but I just want to preface it a little bit by just reminding all of you that the Student Opportunity Act was instituted to ensure that every student in the Commonwealth has access to high-quality education, public education, regardless of their zip code. So the act was designed to acknowledge the historical underfunding of certain districts and wanted to achieve, their aim was to achieve equitable funding. So it injected some financial support into the Massachusetts public schools through 2 key components. One was fiscal changes to Chapter 70 funding, and 2 were policy updates that emphasize the expectation that districts focus on closing the gaps for various student groups. So a crucial aspect of the Student Opportunity Act, which we call the SOA, another acronym, is the Student Opportunity Plan. And if you remember, that was a legislative requirement that mandates districts to formulate this 3-year plan, and you had approved it, believe it or not, 3 years ago, and 3 years, a year ago, just to continue it, and then 3 years ago when it was the new plan. So there's annual updates that we submit to DESE, and we have to, in the 3-year plan, describe how certain allocated funds support gaps for identified target focus groups. And that plan undergoes a 3-year cycle. Every district does it with progress updates submitted. And the new 3-year plan must be submitted by April 1st of this year, regardless of the increase of Chapter 70 money that you get. This year's guidance outlines an improvement target for districts to incorporate in their plans that focuses on your lowest performing student group or groups, and then setting targets on these individual groups. And again, it's essential for all districts, including those that receive minimal or no Chapter 70 aid, to an increase to develop the plan. So the next meeting, I'll give you a more detailed update on the focus areas. If you remember, I believe last year, the focus was on our English learner population. We'll expand it a little bit, and then you'll be asked to approve the plan, so then I can do the task of uploading it in the, what's it called now, Dr. Han, GEMS operation program, but prior to the April 1st deadline. And that's where all the grant allocations are submitted. That's why Dr. Han knows this and loves this program so well. I know. It is an upgrade. It is an upgrade, so, yeah, and you'll get more information at the next meeting, but just wanted to give you some information about it.
Before we move into the superintendent report, any questions or comments on the Student Opportunity Act? Take it away.
All right. Hope you all had a nice February break. I know some of you were able to get away, except for Kristen over there. No,
we didn't take a break.
okay. No break. Weather-wise, the conditions leading up to the break caused a little bit of an interesting twist for all the school districts to cancel. We were like the last ones. I think it was, Medfield, Walpole, Westwood, And I think the seniors are very happy, because the seniors don't have to make that up. And I don't know, can we cautiously say that we're out of the woods? I don't know, I'm not going to cautiously. We'll say it. If so, the last day, will be on, June 13th. March is a busy, busy month, a ton of school events. So winter sports, our playoffs, school plays, concerts. We've got the Middle School Tenacity Challenge, elementary conferences, and spring sports are starting. So for detailed information, please consult the principal e-notes and the district calendars. Additionally, MCAS dates are also included and have been posted. And March 8th is an early release day. A couple of other announcements, the Walpole High School STEM Academy for the class of 2028. I don't know if anybody's feeling a little old, 2028, our current eighth graders. Walpole High School is currently accepting applications for the STEM Academy class of 2028, and all information, it can be found by visiting the link for the STEM Academy, and Mary will link it for us. I'll give that to her. Deadline is May 17th, and then Mr. Brasini, Joe Brasini, he's the contact person for any questions. My student superintendent cabinet took place yesterday afternoon. I have to give a special shout out to JMS counselor Sarah Scales for leading the first session of training for the newly updated bullying and cyberbullying training. It was fantastic. In 2 weeks, this group will engage in the second half of the session. The goal is to reinforce the understanding that we're all integral parts of the community, thus sharing in the responsibility for what transpires within that community. And the focus for session 2 will be on learning how to be effective responders. Really good research that's out there. Next Thursday, we have another Planning for Success session. That's the large group. Yesterday, grade 5 student council leaders from all 4 elementary schools joined together at Fisher to participate in the Envisioning the Future protocol that some of you participated in, to hear a student voice and for the plan. The hour-long session was led by our high school students, remember Sarah and Dylan from our group, who participate regularly in our planning sessions. The students were separated into 4 groups with 2 students from each elementary school in each group, so it was a nice time to switch it up and get to know each other. They brainstormed what they envisioned the Walpole Public Schools to look like, sound like, and feel like in 2029, and then look back into our schools in 2024. All of the students actively engaged in the process, and the activity really showed the power of student voice, connection, and leadership. High school leaders did an amazing job facilitating the session and supporting each of these groups. Some common themes that emerged were more about student choice throughout the day, improved student facilities that support enriching learning experiences. Our high school student leaders will synthesize the work from our session and be able to bring it to the strategic planning group. I really want to thank, I know that, the principals were there, but Jen Buller from Elm Street for facilitating this, so she did a great job. Curriculum night is March 7th, 8th grade curriculum night at the high school. It's going to offer an overview of the scheduling process, a curriculum review by the department chairs. They'll be available to meet with families to address individual questions as well. And there'll also be a special presentation related to special education at 6:30 in the media center. This week, Dr. Han and I did several walkthroughs focusing on indicators of engagement. It's kind of, might be a little nerve-wracking when you get the superintendent, assistant superintendent walking into the classrooms, but, they knew us for the most part, and we're comfortable, but some really, fantastic, incredible teaching and learning going on in those classrooms. Yesterday, I attended the girls' hockey game playoffs. Didn't turn out like we expected, but it was a nail biter, at the end. And then we know basketball is going on now. And next week, Dr. Han and I will be guest readers at Daniel Feeney Preschool. So we look forward to that. Yes.
Did you pick your book yet?
We haven't. So if you have any recommendations for someone who has a child in college, I would be more than happy.
Those Darn Squirrels was a hit in second grade a few weeks back, so.
Okay. I just look at Bill and say, you have a book for me, please?
I let Julie pick for us.
Oh, okay.
Thank you. Any questions or comments for Dr. Goff? Mrs. Galvin?
Just one question. You were talking about the open house for incoming high school kids.
Curriculum night.
Curriculum night is March 9th.
March 9th, I'm sorry, did I say?
No,
did
no,
I
no.
say eight?
I'm-
Seven?
No,
Yeah.
you did say it right.
Yeah.
My question is there one night for eighth grade parents, or are there two? And, because there used to be two, and I wonder if it would make sense to make it a little bit earlier in the future.
They did, I remember they had it earlier last year, but for some reason, and we can look at that they pushed it out. There was a specific reason for that. I can't remember.
I know
right
that,
now.
like, when my kids were there,
It's right here, March 7th, yeah.
okay, when my kids were there, they did something in December, and then they
Did it
did
again.
something later on. And it seemed to catch, there's so much good at Walpole High School,
Mm-hmm.
but some families are shopping around. And if they're shopping around in December and January, and we don't do something until
just too late.
March,
Yeah.
I think, it's just something to consider.
yeah, good point.
Because once people get up there to see what's being
Mm-hmm.
offered, they're usually very, very excited about Walpole High School. But if you've already gotten excited about school, whatever,
No, that's a great point.
Just
Yeah,
something to
I'll-
keep in
I'll,
mind.
I'll communicate it with them.
Yeah.
So wait, you said it's March 7th, though?
March
Yeah,
7th,
March
yes.
7th.
Okay.
sorry, I said it wrong.
I missed this.
That's why I said,
Yeah,
just to
I
take
said
pause to
7th.
say
I was
it's
like,
March
wait a minute,
7th. Yeah.
I think the ninth is Saturday.
Saturday, yeah.
Thursday, March 7th.
Missed that.
Okay, on to old business, beginning with a budget update.
Yeah, no new news, but the last Monday in March, the 25th, FinCom will be meeting to vote on our budget, 7 o'clock.
Monday, March
tentative.
25th.
So, more information to follow for the agenda, but just
And
to
it was a
keep
good
that date.
discussion when we were in front of them, a few weeks back. We sort of laid out we've had a couple of meetings up to this point. We had the joint meeting with Select Board and Finance Committee, and then you and Mr. Frisha did your presentation in front of just the Finance Committee a few weeks back. Lots of really thoughtful questions, lots of understanding that the majority of our significant budget drivers actually aren't things that are controlled by us. For example, out-of-district tuitions, transportation.
Electricity.
Electricity, things that are, we just have to contend with. We don't really have a say in how they shake out.
And we still have a
cost-wise.
gap that we need to close.
Right, we have a gap we need to close, but we're working collaboratively. And I think that we have support, and we will just see how this all plays out. Next, under old business is a middle school building project. Anybody else want to take a stab at a Mark Breen impression?
On time and on budget.
Good work.
Thanks, Mrs. Rogers.
Thank you.
Dr. Goff or Dr. Hahn, any other updates in terms of the academic or logistical side of things, rather than the building
Committees,
itself?
the groups are still meeting.
Yeah.
Still meeting, all those 4 groups. And I know that we had talked about trying to get certain groups tours. So we should, keep continuing to work on that. And I even know our LC had asked today, our leadership council of all the principals who aren't involved in the middle school part, said, hey, is there some time that we can get a tour as well? So we're going to do that for them as well.
Great. Questions or comments about that? All right, and last under old business is an update on the high school project. Mrs. Cyrek?
Yes, we had a meeting today. We have the design development documents. So I will see how we can aggregate and give you guys like 10 of the pages. There are something like 200 pages. And I think there are about 10 of them that are really relevant, right? Just to show the elevations, to show what the design looks like, what the insides of everything look like. So we looked at the counselor suites, like what the space will look like or could look like when the music moves, where the music goes, what that looks like. It's great. It's got that new music space, that flexible space has like 200 seats. And they're bleachers that fold, so it can give you space for everything else. They're still talking about maybe having wrestling, that's a space they could use at some point. We talked about looking at the phases. Sorry, I have like sticky notes with all my. Looked at the greenhouse, the driveway extension, some of how there's still a couple options for how the driveway could work, with that extension. And then also they're still looking at would it go back around. And the one thing that is a little bit of a change is as they were looking at things, the building codes have changed. And so they are not sure if we can completely realize the incentives on electrification. So that is not a done conversation, but they're reinvestigating what that looks like. Waiting on the cost estimate to see what that does. If that means we can't do it, if we need to do it in phases. So that is something they're still considering. We were supposed to vote on this stuff on the 14th, which we are not going to do because they are still getting estimates and they have to consolidate things. So they will barely be prepared to present to us on the 14th. So we're looking at a possible meeting on the 21st, maybe also with the select board. So,
The school committee and select board?
yes,
On the 28th.
21st.
First.
You're looking
To
at that.
present the design.
So we can look at the design, get
Question.
the cost estimates, ask some questions. So that was floated today. We don't have final agreement on that date.
They also show the designs of the science room and the
Yeah.
changes to the science room, what that looks like too, and even having, additional space there with the glass partitions that fold out. And then also that space that looks like that seats, that you said seats, I think it was
It's like
212.
220 or something.
But
Yeah, yeah.
the chairs, the way that they're able to go back, and I even thought, could robotics even be able to use that,
Yeah.
that space as
A lot
well?
of good with flexible space. And I mean, obviously, we saw the field house too. I think that's because it's, gym space and there's the training rooms around it and everything else. I think we understand what that looks like. It's more about what does the inside of the high school look like when you sort of move things around. So
Right.
we'll figure out how we can share some of the pages. I don't think you need to know every detail of which tiles are going to be removed if they need to electrify that room, so.
Probably not at this stage.
No, not yet, so I'd like to share those.
Thank you. Questions or comments, Mrs. Galvin?
What would we be voting on? If we were to take a vote, I don't understand that part of it.
I think it's the cost estimate and looking at, okay, if the estimate is X, can we do all of it? Or if it's X, does that mean we have to look at phases and phasing? And so if they get the cost estimates and aggregate everything and it's March 11th, that doesn't give them time to present to us and have us really think about what that looks like and what the consequences could be. which is why we're gonna try to get something after they have it, around the 11th or so, then come and present on the 21st, if that's the date that works, and then we can have discussion. So that would be a meeting dedicated just to this conversation.
What if the cost estimate comes in around what we think, what we're anticipating and what we know the town has, budgeted for, is that meeting
And I think
still-
that's still why we have the meeting with the select board also.
Okay. But I think, it would seem to me that if we're fortunate enough that the cost estimate comes in, within the figure that has been discussed,
Right.
that meeting becomes a little bit moot, does it not?
I think you still have to
We
approve
still,
it.
we still have to, yeah, we have to approve it.
Uh-huh, okay.
I mean, maybe the select board is less necessary, but, they do have a stake in it as
And
well.
I think the idea of having the joint was that if we had to have them close together, that they weren't coming to present like two nights in a row.
Right.
They could do their presentations, everybody could ask their questions, and then be able to make some thoughtful conclusions.
And what about the Permanent Building Committee? Because they're the ones who can give us expertise around cost.
That
That
wasn't
did not
mentioned
come up.
today.
Yeah.
I know.
Yep, we continue
I
to
think
bring
we
it up.
should, I think you would, I think you
Yeah.
should.
Okay. Anything else? Okay, subcommittee activity. Has there been any? No last
Special ed's meeting bright and early tomorrow. Wow.
7:30.
You remember.
Have a great time.
Thank you.
Can I just talk about the
Yes.
legislative breakfast? The Tri-County superintendents and tech are collaborating together for a breakfast on March 28th. It's at the Norwood Senior Center from 9 to 11. The Tech Phoenix culinary students are catering it and, or are preparing food for it. And you definitely need to register. So if you haven't, let us know that you want to come, and you can, let us know.
Tell me again what time.
9 to 11 on March 28th,
I have registered. I will be there.
right in Norwood. Good.
All right, seeing no citizens present. Oh, I'm sorry, Mrs. Sarah.
Was there a legislative breakfast between the last meeting we had and today?
We reported it out at the previous one, didn't we?
Yeah, it was that morning. It was the morning of
it was
our
that morning.
business meeting. Yes. We were in
Then
Dallas.
it was the same night
Okay.
as
I
the
was on-
breakfast.
okay,
yeah.
Okay,
Yep.
yeah, I know I missed it, and okay.
Yeah,
Thank you.
They were the
You
same
ate your
day.
breakfast on you, too.
What's that?
You ate your breakfast on you.
Okay, we will move on to the approval of warrants, donations, and minutes. Mrs. Rogers?
I would like to make a motion to approve the following payroll warrants: 2431 PS and 2433 PS for the amounts listed in your packet.
Second.
Motion by Mrs. Rogers, second by Mrs. Cyrek. All those in favor? Opposed, abstained, 600.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the following accounts payable warrants: 224032, 224033, 234034 for the amounts listed in your packets.
Second.
Motion by Mrs. Rogers, second by Ms. Gaotitz. All those in favor? Opposed, abstained, 600. Thank you. Would somebody like to take the gifts?
Sure. I'd like to make a motion to approve the following gifts: to the Daniel Feeney Preschool from Shutterfly for $330.96, to Boyden from Dedham Savings Bank and Walpole Cooperative Bank for $1,000, to Old Post Road from Bay State Textiles for $85.80, and the pack for $2,220, and to Elm Street from Bay State Textiles for $76.20.
Second.
Motion by Mrs. Cyrek, second by Mrs. Rogers. All those in favor? Opposed, abstained, 600. And finally, the minutes.
Through you, Madam Chair, I make a motion to approve the February 8th, 2024 school committee meeting minutes and the February 8th, 2024 school committee meeting executive session minutes. Stipulation that the executive session minutes be held until the matter is resolved.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Buckley, second by Ms. Gaotitz. All those in favor? Opposed, abstained? 501. Oh, I did, because I wasn't there. All right. Nothing further?
Who else gets to be Mr. Breen? Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Motion by Mrs. Rogers, second by Mr. Buckley. All those in favor? Opposed, abstained, 600. Thank you very much. Have a pleasant evening.
Good night.